Just a little bit of housekeeping again. I didn't really ever announce that there are sign-up sheets up on that set, behind that set of doors. If you want to get involved in a project, leave your name and your email address, and the people who are the head of the sections will collect them and share them, and hopefully that'll be the nucleus of what goes forward. And I did mention before that anyone who's speaking should sign permission for publication. So at this point, I'd like to ask the moderators listed in our program to come up, and so we can sort of figure out what's next. I don't know if there's enough seats for everybody. I'll sit here. Definitely enough seats here. Orange, maybe. Where's Tara? I think you're listed. Is that? Dr. Gabal is leaving. Santosh. There's no getting out of this. So, in the spirit of the day, I'm going to sit on this side of you. Come on, move over. I really felt that I wanted to see an egalitarian as possible day. And unfortunately, we didn't have as long discussions as I had hoped. But I thought we had some great presentations. And I was really excited to see all the participation and the energy in even in the coffee breaks that we barely had, and the lunch. I think that personally, I would love to see this moved inside the ISOO, at least every other year. But I don't think 2 years in between. To quote Tero, actually, when we were talking about this in its embryonic phase. He said, we really have to do something to keep us busy between the 2 years. And it doesn't have to take up all of our time. You know, it's one of these less than 5% things. If we all gave less than 5%, then we get a lot done. Because we're like the most productive people I know in the world. So that's what I think. I thank you all for coming from my perspective, and I would like each one of us to just say something about what they want to do with their sections.
I think I would like to take it ahead with formation of groups to write up, arrive at a consensus on surgical techniques, and then write it up and have a resource material up on the website.
Yeah, I was very positively surprised that even radiation oncologists are accepted in this group, and I'm very grateful for it. I was also surprised by the positive feedback we had in lunch and coffee breaks. So I'm quite sure that some of you will join our efforts and that we will be able to, let's say, publish in 1 year a first proposal how to do it.
I can second that we had very nice one-to-one, face-to-face discussions during the lunch break, and there seems to be at least a core of interested people who would like to build a database so that they can compare their outcomes. There are issues to be solved is that we wouldn't be duplicating efforts, and as far as I see, the database for comparing the outcomes is a lot simpler than the one that you need to develop classifications. So we need to find out what are the minimum data to be set in, and how people can send the data in a way that they don't need to enter them case by case. And ideally, of course, we would like to have some initial pilot system that would be workable within 1 or at least within 2 years, so that we can show it's a project that can be accomplished, and that it is a project that will give something to those who participate in it. That won't be easy, so we need people to participate between the meetings that we have. And to build this particular pilot project?
Well, I echo many of Tiro's comments that this is something that we can work on together. And I think in terms of the patient-reported outcomes, there's a lot that we can learn already from what many of us are doing, and many people who didn't speak, but there's many in the audience who have much to contribute. And I think a 2-year goal to come up with at least an initial template or something that we can be more uniform about as many centers, so that we can move forward doing that. And I think that anyone who does participate is going to improve and enrich their own center, and I think that's just a given. But I think that's something to put out there to encourage everybody to participate in this.
Apart from the work on conjunctival melanomas, I would like to develop an ergonomic, user-friendly, painless way to collect data as part of our normal clinical care, data that's actually useful in our daily practice, and the data that's also available to be shared. And I'd like to make it easier for other centers to do the same in an effortless kind of way. And so that's why I'm really excited by the initiative of the American Academy of Ophthalmology and the IRIS initiative, and hopefully the AAOP will help to make that more widely used across the United States, and hopefully the ISOO and this group here will help to make this routine, so that in 5-10 years' time, it'll be most of us will be doing it, and it'll be the exception who's not collecting data. I started doing this because over my career, several ophthalmologists accused me of murdering my patients by doing eyeball resections at a time when enucleation was standard practice. Even radiotherapy was frowned upon by many ophthalmologists. Isn't that right, Paul? You would remember those days as well. And so I had to justify to myself, as much as to anyone else, that we were not killing our patients. And this need is as strong as ever.
The problem sitting at the end, of course, everybody said everything you're going to say, so we're going to find something to say, I suspect. But I think the important thing here for me has been that, first of all, this has been a wonderful introduction to collaboration and the effort of collaboration, which we could have never done or thought of 10 years ago. Technology has changed in such a way that both from the professional side and the client side, news is ready to go at an instant. Wherever we travel, it's all mobile. A patient came in just last week to see me and said, by the way, my eye looked like this 2 weeks ago, and showed me exactly what it looked like on the PD. And it gave you a boost in terms of record of illness. This could never have happened 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And so we're now in an age where I think we have to be cautious about communication transfer, of confidentiality, in transferring information and education from professional to professional. We need filters on the kind of technology that's available these days, because once it's out there, it's out there. So that all of that concept of communication, I think, should be discussed at perhaps another meeting, and should be looked at very carefully as we get even easier in terms of our ability to move information around. But I think it's just a very, very instructive day we've had, and a very encouraging day to think that we can now put information in one place from a lot of sources quicker than we ever used to be able to do, and come up with numbers. So that really it's been a great, exciting day for me.
So last but not least, I've got 3 very short points, and then I think you're all going to be allowed to go. I think it's very good to pursue with the registries, particularly for improvement of the TNM staging system. A lot of us are involved in this, and I think to make sure that they're actually used and are considered valuable in clinical work, I think it would be good if we can revise them and make them simple for use. The TNM is very much anatomically based, and I think we should move with the times and include as much molecular pathology in the TNM staging systems of the different chapters as well. So that's one point. The second point is I think pathologists should be involved in the SOP writing for not only the staging following radiation therapy. So there was a suggestion of doing impression cytology. I think pathologists should be involved in that so that we come up with a standardized way of interpreting such results. And obviously in the surgery, so the SOPs that was suggested this afternoon, and whether you do Mohs or not, and that type of thing. I think it would be good if we come up with internationally standardized SOPs. And then finally, last but not least, I think we should try and coordinate our efforts with the fellowships also in ophthalmic pathology, but research and the possibility of exchange between laboratories and picking up new techniques and introducing, I don't know, molecular technologies or even just the basics in reporting the various samples. So with that, I'm done. Who would like to catch the microphone?
We lost Lawrence, so I'm going to impose on Brenda to say something about the retinoblastoma section, if you don't mind.
I think the retinoblastoma is a very, very exciting time because I think the world is really, for retinoblastoma, the collaboration is global and it's one common disease. The disease is the same everywhere. It's only a matter of all these social and poverty and all those factors that block some children accessing the same care. So we could clearly have that as a goal. I think this could be a zero death cancer by having SOPs and common practices and all these problems solved. I think it's very clear that's going to happen. And I think that on the work we're doing with the database, we think every child in the world can be in one database and all that data can be replace clinical trials by having a learning health system guiding and studying it on the fly all the time. It's rare. It's only 8,000 kids in the world affected newly each year. So you can actually demo that and other diseases will follow. So I think it's a very, very exciting time for retinoblastoma. But that's my passion, of course, so that's what I think.
That said, anybody else? Meeting adjourned. Have a great time in Paris.
Only as a last word, thank you to you. I think he merits a real thanks from all of us.
forget that one. Don't forget that one.